on this, and like we pretty lax and chill. The only thing would be like the time difference, if anything. And I know Kim was like, "Oh, she trying to get this late," so boom. But yeah, we be chilling like a villain. So, but we just glad that you could have come on today and show your face off, and we trying to, show a little box face. Ew. But Kim, you and I were also chatting just a little bit, but like, what you been up to today? Because, it's a little late over yonder.
Oh, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did my chat with the teacher in Vietnam today. I always feel so nervous before, and it's really fine. Like, it's just me and her talking, and there's questions and talking points and topics and stuff that I do need to cover, but it's like really, really informal. But I just get all like tense and freaked out, by it.
Hold up, teacher in Vietnam.
Yeah, I had to
back.
finish my TEFL, I need to do these like teaching hours, and I found this organization, and they just match people who's like native English speakers with I think originally it was just people who wanted to learn English, but recently they switched it to teachers, like English teachers in Vietnam, because they're like, that'll be the most obviously, because they're teaching English, so like the better that they are, so so she's been teaching for like 10 years, and I really like it, because in the first session she was like telling me like what I could do better to like help her learn better, and like she knew like where she's like, my listening skills aren't great, these are my goals, this is what I want, and so it was like really nice, because she's like so experienced, so she's just like really and I was like I don't know, I feel like as we do it I'll feel less and less nervous, but and it's just fun, like through the way they design the program, like the questions, it's nice, because I'm learning so much about Vietnam through really eager to learn, which that's obviously the best sort of student to have, so I'm excited, even though I'm like cripplingly nervous for like whatever reason.
No nerves, no need. Excuse me. That sounds so cool. Like she came with a game plan and everything, because I would have been like, I'm just here because they told me I had to be here. That'd be me, and I'm just like, okay, let me try a different approach, because now y'all can actively like know what y'all working on and stuff. But go ahead, English teacher. I'm like, to be an educator is intense. You got that. But
I think I should start recording, because I have not done that.
I was recording.
I think it is recording.
Thank you, London.
What have I been up to today? Pretty much just cleaning my room and everything, trying to get my head on straight and stuff, because just like not letting the outer world have too much effect on me. But what I have been working on, just like meditating and everything, because my mind just been flying high in the sky. But now we back here, and we back at it on Wanderlusty episode 3 of season 2. So let's get it, gang. And period. And this is our special guest, Tayla, and she's about to give it to us. But I know that one of the topics that we wanted to approach was, first and foremost, or we can delve into it as many times as we like, or delve out, is international dating, and what that's all about. And if anybody have any stories or any advice on any of that, of course I can come up with some on my own, but y'all gotta give me some time. But that's just something I'm throwing out there, and if y'all have any feedback on that, please.
Relationships, romance. That's so sticky.
It is.
Very.
I love talking about it. I'll be like, let's get into it.
Question, like, before you guys' study abroads, did you date a lot at home? Because I did not. So going abroad was like what opened the door for me.
So like my first time abroad was a bit of an experience, because since it was my freshman year, I like came into college with my high school boo. And being in Spain as a freshman, was very tempting to step outside of myself.
These
but
Spanish boys is looking at me. These
Spain
Spanish
literally
people
has
is
like
looking at me. Mhm.
that's
yeah,
wild.
but it was hard, but you know, your girl stayed faithful.
Wow,
That's
But
like
I was just
applause
like,
worthy.
takes the strength.
I was just like, yo, like, because I don't know, like when you're a freshman and coming out of high school, especially if like, you know, high school romance relationship, everyone has that whole thing about like, oh, like, are we gonna stay together? Can we do long distance? Blah blah blah. And then you got everybody and their mom in your ear talking about, oh, y'all just need to break up. You're like, y'all are young.
Can you
And we
just...
were like, no, like we're so in love. Like we gotta stay together. I wish we broke up so I could have some fun, but I did not have. I mean, like there was a boy like I had this huge crush on, self-admittedly.
Yes.
But thankfully I did not act on that temptation. But I wanted to so badly. But he was an American guy.
Okay.
That I met while I was in Spain. So yeah, he's from Merlin.
Oh.
So that's how I learned all the little speak, the DMV speak.
Oh my goodness.
The way I'll be talking and stuff. But I had a huge crush on him. But like we didn't do nothing. But you know, I was just like, in my mind, I was just like, dang, like maybe, you know, our parents are right sometimes, like, you know, you're young, just do you, whatever.
You really
but like
are.
you know, I wasn't trying to hear it.
Yeah.
I was just like, now I got a man. And just for us to break up the beginning of the next year, I was tight. You know, I was mad. You know, I was mad.
Like, are you serious? You waited till now? Like,
I was so mad, but yeah.
That's real. Okay, I ain't do like too much dating. Well, before college in general, no, not too much dating. I'm trying to think before. Well, okay, because my first time abroad was in high school, so I guess it wasn't no dating going on. But once I got to college and I went abroad, freshman. First semester of sophomore year, of senior year. And I'm trying to think before then, I guess I did, you know, do a little dabbling in the dating pool, although it was like not the best pool. It was like I tried to talk to a couple of the fellas up at my university and stuff, but my school very small and everybody knew each other, so that means everybody had messed with each other, and I'm just like, I don't really like this, and I just felt like I just didn't want my business to be a part of anybody else's business, because I'm like, y'all just. I feel like I knew too much of other people's stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. But so I did date like primarily outside. Like I never had. Oh, I'm lying. My first boyfriend was from there. But beyond my first boyfriend from university, like I really just dated predominantly outside of school, because I didn't. You know, I wanted more mature people who had it more figured out. Although they be just the same, it just sucks. It's like, oh lordy, nothing changed. But so yeah. The answer is yes. I had a interesting little dating life prior to studying abroad, and you know, seeing what the fishes look like over there across the pond. So I'm trying to think. Once I got there, though, once I got across the pond, I feel like I actually wasn't like. First off, English fellas. Let's just say, for my time in England, English fellas. This is not all of them, but they just wasn't necessarily my type. They would be like, I don't know how to describe their aesthetic. It wasn't the tight pants. I don't know. Maybe it was the
please.
I just think of like the athletic wear, like Adidas and like puffy coats.
Yo, like okay, can we unpack that actually?
Go ahead.
So I've been to London twice, and mind you, like I love London. Like I genuinely do love London. But I have a question, like I really do, because
we need answers.
Why does it feel like I'm in a gym outside?
Exactly.
Like everyone's in athletic wear always. Like they have like the Adidas tracksuit, the little pouch that like the strap around, pouch. And it's like, I mean, not everyone's dressing like that, but like a lot of people are dressing like that. And I was just like, are y'all okay? But like I will say this though, like when I visited London the first time, when I got off the train, first of all, I felt underdressed as fuck. because they be dressing to the
Glad I know.
gods. If they're
I
not
don't know.
dressing, if they're not in a tracksuit, they're in some, I don't even know what it's like, some name brand, posh,
Yeah.
like cute
They
fit,
got it.
and they were all fine. I don't
Yes.
know. I like, got off
London.
the train. I was like, okay, pip, pip, cheerio. Like, you all are fine. Like,
Oh my
I felt really ugly, like, there. Like, I genuinely, like, felt like an ugly ass bitch, like, when I was there, like, dead ass. Because they were just all cute. I was just like, I don't know, like, everyone was just pretty. Like, everyone just, I don't know, maybe that's where I was. Like, I was in central London, like, when I was there, but, like, everyone just had good, clear skin, could dress, had that accent, the accent.
LA.
Exactly.
Hello, governor. Like, I love that shit. Like, it just, ooh. Yeah, but, you know,
They had
that's
the
just
full. That's what I'm talking about. Hold on, let me move this a little bit.
Yeah, no, London street style is like some of the best I've seen. But yeah, same. I was walking and I felt so self-conscious. And like Newcastle is different. I'd be like, oh, I'm standing out. I look cute. But I got to London and I was like, let me just go back to my hostel because this is not the. It's not it for
Oh
me.
my
But
God.
oh my God, yeah.
I didn't go to London actually, which I'm kind of, because I don't know if I would have dressed to impress if I went there. Because they,
why didn't, how could you not go?
Exactly. I
see,
was
that's
like, London.
so. See,
Because maybe that's why you had trouble finding who you want, because
see, but
Yeah,
we
you
do
limited
have a
yourself
couple
to
tales that we're gonna
Newcastle.
get into about the people who did have the pleasure of gracing this being. But I wound up not going because by the time that I was like considering going, because I was thinking of going down like with Sinead and stuff, because she also invited me down to London around that Christmas time area. But I also would just broke by that time. So I just said, and everybody kept on saying how expensive London is. And I was just like, I'm scared to go down there. And they they be like, you got your money for your
it is
food?
$1.50.
And I'm like, no. So I just was like, it's a no for me. So I was like, okay, next time, we'll just see how that goes. I had done a lot of other traveling, or did enough traveling for me while at the time outside of the country and stuff. But yeah, London is definitely a bucket list, and everybody always like, your name is London, you need to go to London.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
yes, like we need an episode of London and London.
Yes.
Like, what? I'm upset that like that doesn't exist, and now I know why. Like, what?
soon.
Dang.
Wait till I get this bag again, and then we overseas. But yeah, one day. But y'all said the Londoners, they was looking all that in a bag of chips. I'm trying to compare them. Oh, my fault. I was trying to compare them to like the Newcastle folks. I don't really, because even the people who I did talk to in Newcastle, they weren't from there. They was from like York or like somewhere else. I don't know, from around the way. So it wasn't nobody from Newcastle who necessarily caught my eye. Cause no offense, they all look so young. That was also another thing. I'm like,
I think because they were like, because they can drink at 18, so they were like 18 years old in the club with us.
baby, you cannot. This was out in the.
Like they're literally high schoolers. I'm like, why are you here?
I mean, I will say this, like, I mean, even if the London boys are fine, like, I got played by a guy, like, in London, and that's a whole story, but, like, you know, I have a little bit of a phobia now, like, a little bit, because I was like, all right, like, the accent really pulled me in, but, like, I got tricked, like, y'all tricked me.
Okay, would you care to talk about how?
Oh, my God, okay, so...
I'm like, we also got some, well, I can tell some tales on top, but...
So basically, first of all, a bitch wasn't even trying to come to London, because I was just like, okay, that's like a glorified New York City, like, I'm not going there, there's no reason, there's no reason for me to go, like, whatever. But my friends were studying abroad at the same time as me, and they were studying in London, and they were just, like, pressing me, like, constantly, like, oh, you need to come, So I was like, okay, fine, let me get on the plane. So I found, like, a cheap ticket from Poland. It was, like, 75 round trip. So I was like, bet. So I hopped on the plane, got to London. Well, I got to one of the outside airports. I had to take like an hour bus ride inside of the city because nobody's flying into Heathrow. Like, I don't have Heathrow money, so I'm not doing that. Period. So I get to my friend's place, and like I said, like they lived in central London, so like near Oxford Circus, like the really posh, cute area. So I was like, okay, this is, and also I had not seen Black people in like a while.
Sometimes like that.
Right. So like coming into London, seeing a little bit of everybody. Like London's so diverse. Like it's the most diverse place I've ever visited in my entire life, and like diverse in a sense that like not just seeing different people, but everyone being like pretty integrated. Like all the friend groups I saw were pretty mixed with different people, and like everyone was just vibing. It just felt normal, like you know. So I was like, oh shit, like this is really cool. So I get to my friend's place, we're vibing, we're chilling, and then she was just like, okay, well I have school, like she had classes or whatever while I was there, so maybe you can occupy your time with someone on Tinder. And I was just like, I was like, girl, like I don't want to get on Tinder, like because I had such bad luck, like in Poland, because there ain't no black people.
Oh, that's...
and they're scared of black people in Poland sometimes, you know, they don't want to be talking to us. It's always, or it's like a fetishization thing, like a guy would say, I've never been with a black woman.
And you just like I didn't ask!
Literally, and I'm sitting here like, okay. But so she was just like trying to press me about it, like, oh, just download Tinder, you know, British Tinder is the best Tinder. There's so many people. British Tinder. And I was just like, all right, fine.
Okay.
So I'm swiping, swipe, swipe. Find this really cute black guy. He's Nigerian, really adorable, fine, nice facial structure. And we were like into all the same shit. Like I read his bio, and it's like really like I will give them this. Y'all British niggas know what you're doing by filling out your bio, because there's bad heads who never fill it out. And if you don't fill your bio out, I'm not swiping right on you. Period. Like y'all are weird. I be reading the bios. I'd be like, okay, like
it was really good.
Like, what's good? Like, can you talk about yourself? Because if you can't, like, I'm not going on a date with you. Like,
they be like, hit me up on Snap or Instagram.
No!
I'm not going to hit you up.
I didn't download Tinder to hit you up on your Snap. I'm here to hit you up on the app. Like,
on here. So,
I swiped right. We matched. We got to chatting. And he was like, oh, love, like, how long are you going to be in town? And I was like, ooh, I could just hear the accent. Like, hey, like, in text. And I was just like, oh, I'm only here because I only was coming for like 48 hours. Because I was, like I said, I wasn't trying to be there. Glorified New York, whatever. Mind you, I love it now. Like, it's not a glorified New York. It's way better. It's like a clean New York. I'll say that. Like, it's a clean New York. So he was like, oh my God, like, we have to take you on a tour of Central London, like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, all right.
Take me.
So the next day, we go, like, he literally takes me on a tour of Central London, like, for free, like, a full-on, like, we're going everywhere, like, all the spots, like, he showed me everything. It was so wholesome, like, we were vibing, like, it was just a good vibe, like, and I was like, damn, like, I met this guy, he's really cute, he was with the vibes, he was, like, an engineering, like, he was getting his master's in engineering.
Come on, love an
this,
educated
like,
man.
And I was sitting here, like, and he got that accent.
He's got that accent, yeah.
He's got the accent, yeah.
Y'all better.
So I was just like, yeah, I'm about, ooh. So that's when I decided, like, and I also had a great weekend. Like, me and my friends went on a bar crawl. I met so many of their friends. Like, the clubs there are so much fun. It was just a vibe. Like, London's a vibe. It's just a vibe. So they were pressing me, like, right, I was like, damn, like, I kind of want to extend my trip. So I was looking at flights and stuff, trying to, like, stay longer, but it just was too expensive. Like, the turnaround was just, like, too much money, and I had class. So I was like, damn, okay. So that's when my friends were like, oh, you have to come back before the semester's over, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, all right, guys, like, I'll see about it. So then me and the boy were texting back and forth. After I left, like, he was like, oh, are you coming back? Like, when will you be back? Like, I really like our time together, and I really want to spend more time together, blah, 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 blah.
Like, get your flight out here, get me flued out.
Exactly.
My 20-year-old self was like, man, this nigga likes me. Like, I'm about to bag a man. I'm about to have a British boyfriend, like, period. So we're, like, talking every day for, like, 3 or 4 weeks. So then I tell her, I was like, okay, I'm going to come back. Because there was this one weekend where my friends were going to, like, the forest, and I was like, I'm not about to be in the forest with a bunch of white people in Poland. I'm not doing that. No get out situations for me. So I'm just gonna use this weekend to go to London. So I came back to London. I was staying with my friends again or whatever. But the guy was like, oh, like, we should get a hotel and like spend the day together.
Mm-hmm.
So 20-year-old me was a fool. So I was like, oh my God, okay. He's like, oh, can you book it? And we'll half a half. Blah, blah, blah. Because he was still in college. So I was like, okay, fine, that's fair, whatever.
Yeah.
So I booked it, right? Mind you, if you're ever in London and you're not a British bitch, be mindful of this, okay? They run your card twice and they refund you 7 weeks after if you get a hotel room.
7.
That is a regular practice. So my card got ran online when I paid for it online. And they ran my card again in person. They're like, oh, this is I don't remember what they called it, but they're like, it's a thing. You know, a girl had Google on hand, and it's actually a thing. So I was like, all right, I'm not getting scammed. Like, it's a real thing. So just be mindful. Your card's going to get ran twice if you're doing it online and there. And the Airbnbs were like, I don't know. See, this is what pissed me off, right? Like, he told me, like, this specific hotel, and he was like, oh, like, you know, we should just stay here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, should we just get an Airbnb? Like, it's going to be cheaper and whatever. But I was like, but my dumb ass, oh, he's British. Like, he knows what he's talking about. Like, okay, like, whatever. So, mind you, first of all, the first scam was the hotel.
Not scam.
Bitch, they had me in an outhouse.
My car get ran twice and I gotta go to the outhouse.
And it was like 150 pounds, bro.
For one night? Oh my God.
For one night. To be in an outhouse that looks nothing like the fucking listing, right?
I would have been like, no, I need my money back right now because this ain't it. I'm listening though.
I was tight. Like, I was tight. But like, okay. Rewind. I'm at my friend's place, like dropping my stuff off or whatever. She's like, when are you gonna meet up with your mans? I was like, oh, like we meeting up at like 5, 6 or whatever at the hotel or whatever, and then we're gonna go and do whatever. And then she was like, okay, cool, bet. And then we were like, okay, like we need a safe word or whatever in case like something happens, whatever. So my safe word was like mangoes. So if I text her mango, that means shit was going wrong. Long story short, I definitely sent mango by the end of that time I hung out with him. But so I leave her place at like 4:30 to catch the train to go to this hotel. So I get to the hotel, I check in, they run my card twice. I was pissed off about that. The fucking hotel was dingy. They sent me like literally the room I was in was detached from the hotel, like detached, like in like the foyer, like in the, like, you know how British building, like not British buildings, but like European buildings, like have that courtyard kind of thing sometimes. Like that's where it was like a mini thing, like in the courtyard. Dang. Mind you, it's like basically a glorified shack. So I come into the room, I look in the bathroom. I never in my life seen a bathroom like this. Bitch, the shower and the toilet were like on the same, like there was no like it was like the same. The shower and the toilet was like the same.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
the
like
one
a wet shower, a wet bathroom, whatever they're called.
I guess so. I was like, what is this? I was like, what is this? What is this? What is this?
It's not my first choice. I do not like the toilet getting wet. I do not like that.
Like, what is this? I never even knew it existed. I was like, what?
You just came up in there.
So I was like, okay. And it was so small. Like, I felt like I couldn't even fit in the damn bed. I was like, what is going on? Like, the room was just danky. It was like one of those like TVs that like had the little like pull out thing.
Oh yeah, the little detachable, retractable.
So in my mind, I was like, it's okay. Like, I'm not even gonna be in here. We're gonna go out and like do stuff, and like we'll just be here, like to go to sleep, like whatever. So I'm waiting for him. He's like 2 hours late. First of all, so I'm texting him like, and he's like, I'm just getting off work, like I'm away, and I'm gonna be there quickly.
Then get here.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay, cool.
Patience, you better than me.
So he walks in. First of all, clearly he had gotten way too comfortable over the little 4 weeks we were talking because he was looking
like who done it and why.
I was like, what? I was like, baby, your cut, like, where is it? Like, you no shape up, no nothing. Like, your hair is looking a little off. Like, you're looking a little off. Like,
You look dusty.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, baby, are you okay? Like, sweetie.
Sometimes it be like that. You like, is everything actually okay?
So I was like, don't be mean. Like, Tayla, like, maybe had a long day, like, whatever. And he was like, oh, like, I'm so tired, blah, blah, blah. Just, like, talking about how tired he is or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, maybe we can just go get something to eat, this and that. And he's like, yeah. And then, like, you know, we started making out and blah, blah, blah. And some things happened, whatever. You know how it goes. Well, so after that, right, I was like, okay, so I'm hungry. Like, we go to get some food.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, yeah, just give me a minute. Like, that was a lot. Like, give me a minute. So a minute turns into half an hour turns into an hour. Let's just say I never ate that night. Period.
Oh no.
Like, so then he was like, he turned the TV on and fucking, what is that movie called? The movie, it's like the post-apocalyptic
2012.
No. It's like they all live in the desert or something.
Mad Max
Came on. Yo, I was so annoyed. He's like, I love Mad Max. I love it. I love Mad Max.
I love
Can you watch
this film.
Mad Max? Mad Max is on the. He's like, getting my like. Mad Max is on the television.
Mad Max.
Mad Max.
I'm like,
and I'm sitting here like, okay, like whatever. So we were watching Mad Max. Like, I'm sitting here like, okay, like in my mind, like, and I was like, so are we gonna do? I literally was just like, look at him. So I was like, so are we just gonna watch Mad Max? Like, I thought we would go out and like do whatever. He's like, oh, like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so tired. Like, you know, as an app, we can order food and we can just like take it in for today and just watch Mad Max and like hang out and something chill. And he's like, and you're gonna be here for 5 days, so like we'll just hang out again. And I was like, okay. So in my mind I was pissed, but I was just like, fine. Mind you, never ordered the food. Just sat there really and just watched Mad Max with this boy. Mind you, fucking this is the bad part. Y'all didn't think this was already awful. Okay. This is the shitty part. This is when I texted Mangoes. So we're cuddling, watching Mad Max. I'm miserable. I didn't even want to watch that fucking movie on like the fucking 90s rollout television, but whatever. And so he looks at me and he looks at his watch.
What you looking at that for?
Literally. He's like, I know it's getting late. And I was like, yeah, it is late, but we're in a hotel, so why does that matter?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I got work in the morning. I really think I'm going to leave from my house. I think I'm going to go.
What?
So I was looking at him like, so you made me pay for this fucking hotel for you to not even, we didn't go to dinner, no nothing, just to hook up.
Why you ain't tell me that you had to work tomorrow morning? Oh,
that's what I said to him. But also, like, why does it matter that you have to work tomorrow morning if we're in a hotel? Can't you just leave in the morning? Mm-hmm. That's what I asked him. He's like, yeah. Well, he's like, well, I'll like get a little confused. Like, in this area, I don't know. Like, I want to get there soon. Blah blah blah. I'm just staring at him like, okay, okay, that's fine. Whatever. I'm not about to like force you to stay here. This man put the fucking half of his money that he had to pay for the hotel on the bed. Said he had fun, kissed my forehead, and left. I felt like a prostitute! I was like, and no shade to sex workers, but like, damn!
No, that's like, no.
It's such a weird vibe, just that
and
whole
I just looked
exchange.
at him like, so I'm in this outhouse by myself with my suitcase, alone, in the middle of London, with a guy I was like, thought was like so great, this and that, bloop bloop bloop. Oh yeah, I was just mad because I'm like, dang, like this guy, like I really felt like, you know, we had a vibe.
Yeah.
Like this is, and he ruined it. And like, of course I didn't see him after that. Like I texted him and I was like, hey, like I felt like that was kind of fucked up. Like, you know, how you left me by myself, like in this room, knowing I don't know anything about the fucking city. And like you said that we were supposed to spend time together and we didn't. Like,
We spent Mad
messed
Max
up.
together. Yeah.
Just to watch Mad Max, and you were the only one who
And
likes
not even
Mad
eat.
Max.
No,
Mad Max.
like, boy, if you know.
Oh my god, like, what? I was pissed, like, and he was just like, he ghosted me after that. Like, he did not respond to any of my texts, like, whatever. And then he texted me, like, I would say, like, almost a year later or something, and was just like, I'm really sorry, like, that was messed up, blah, blah, blah. I was just going through something or whatever. And I was like, fuck
Aren't they
you.
always going through something?
Exactly.
I was like, well, you put me through something. How about that? Like, we could have just not.
Exactly.
I was like, we could have just not. We could have just not.
Not at all. We didn't have to. And that's on that.
And I was like thinking, like, in my mind, I was like, if you just wanted to hook up, like, that's okay.
Express that.
We could have just did that.
But I'm thinking we Ray. Yes.
Promise me some London, one-on-one time. And then
we get Mad Max time.
Mad Max.
No, and I don't like that. I don't like no parts of it. And I've definitely had a similar situation happen. Even with
were they British?
They actually weren't British. It was over here in these United States. Shake my head. But it was actually with I mentioned him to Kim a couple times, but he was actually the boy who I was, back in the day, like, who I just felt such an intense, feeling towards, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, he is so cool. Like, we was having also off of Tinder, if I'm not mistaken, so that was the first fail right there. But yeah, we was talking on Tinder and everything, and then we arranged to I think I probably was trying to be slick and stuff, so I wasn't really looking for nothing. But so we had decided to get a little. Oh, that door scared me behind you, Kim. Oh my god, I was like, is that my closet? But I was like, hold on, this is not my. But anyway, we started talking on Tinder or whatever, and I just really liked his energy over there. And I was like, oh, he kind of a lot, but it was cool. And then, but then the day before, because we was like, oh yeah, we're gonna get this hotel, whatever, and just chill out, and it's all cool. Then the day before, maybe even the night before, he was like, oh yeah, I'm probably gonna, we decided to meet out in Rockville, Maryland, which is closer to DC-ish area. And I'm in Baltimore, Maryland, and I don't drive or anything. So I was like, I'm going to be meeting up with you. You're going to be driving us from DC to Rockville and stuff. But the night before, this man is going to tell me, oh yeah, I'm probably going to leave after at the end of the night or whatever, because I gotta work in the morning. And I said, then guess what? We is not linking up if you not about to be there. Because first off, I don't know anything about Rockville, anything about you, nothing.
At least he told you before the meeting.
Yeah, that was. It was a little bit of a difference, but I understand those feelings of being why, what the heck? Point? Yeah, what's up? What's really good?
Why are we commuting? What is the point of the commute then? If I don't get to lay my head down on a pillow and sleep, who's doing all of that driving? Who is putting mileage on their car? Who is paying the money to book something if you're not going to stay?
I guess they just ready for it, and I just be like, what is?
I think that's their way of being so they know what it is. If I leave, and I'm like, I know what it is. If we cuddle it, I know what it is.
I know.
Did I say I wanted you? Did I say that I wanted you?
And I feel like a lot of I'm just putting this out there in general, but I feel like a lot of guys or mass folks they think that commitment they a very commitment phobic to the point where it's you can't even allow yourself to experience all the good and this time together before you feel so ready to pull away, because you feel like somebody gonna feel some type of way or want more. And maybe that might be the truth, but it's okay, let's at least enjoy this time where we can commit our time to each other, whether that's for a night, whether that's for you date for 3 months, but we committed. And it don't have to be necessarily we getting married because we decided to hang out around London together. I just wanted to get to know you some more, and
the vibes. Nobody, that's the thing, nobody was talking about I'm trying to be with you, or I want you, or whatever. we were vibing off of like the music that we both like, the shows that we both enjoy, like the food that we eat, shit, like cultural things, like in our families, like comparing them. Like that's where I'm like, we had really real conversations, and like it just felt so fake. Like why did you waste my time like talking to me? And like the thing is this, like we could have been friends. That would have been fine, but like communicate, like open your mouth. And that's the problem. Like literally, like me and my friends in Vienna, like on our girls' nights, we always like come together and complain about niggas all the time.
Barely.
And
as one does.
As a collective. And the one thing that we always say is use your words. Men don't know how to use their words. They don't know how to use their words. And then like I have no luck with women all the time, so there's that. So like I know anyone that's watching is like, oh, you should just date women. I try, babes.
Yeah.
Like that's why I got my nose ring, you know, so they know now. Like,
so they know exactly.
My friends were like, maybe you should get a nose ring, and I was like, bet. God. So any women,
who chatting?
Non-binary,
I feel that. Yes.
That want to chat?
No, for real.
I have a nose ring.
Yes. It's official.
Yes. Thank you.
That's literally how I feel. But y'all, we are going to take a quick break at this moment and be right back.
So I did like phone canvassing for this organization in Atlanta, and it was like organized by Black femmes, and you know, it was a really cool grassroots organization. But and I just so my job literally was just to sit on the phone, and I had everybody's like first last name, whether or not they voted in the last election, how they typically vote, and address and stuff like that. And she was like, so just call these numbers and ask them if they've registered to vote. That's what it was. I was supposed to tell them where they're supposed to go vote, like where, you know, based on where they were registered.
When did you do this? Was this during the runoff? Please say no.
No. It was it was like at least.
I was about to be like, I'm about to, because I hated those fucking people calling me every 10 seconds during the runoff election. I was like, if I find one of y'all in person, it's on site. I'm sick of y'all calling me. Leave me alone.
Me with somebody asking, what's your job? And you be like,
the press leading up, like for that runoff election, I felt just the election in general. I felt so like bombarded, so upset. I was getting ads from Trump, from Biden, Ossoff, Warren, like everybody who was running for anything. I was seeing everything, even my YouTube ads. I was like, please give me something to buy. Like,
I beg you.
Like, and pass. Like, leave me in peace. Like
weirdos. The decision is already made. I don't know.
Exactly. I'm like, I know what I'm doing. Like, go away.
Like, who hasn't made their mind up? Like, who hasn't made
they like, I need to hear 3 more points, and I might switch my mind. 3 more.
Some of them were so cinematic, though. I remember this one Joe Biden one, and I was like, I've never seen him so coherent, but in this ad, he was really on it.
It wasn't him.
It was a deep fake.
Those be so legit looking. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's scary. Sometimes Eric will show me them. He's like, isn't this cool? And I'm like, that terrifies me. I think because a while back I saw one of Obama, and I was like, somebody could use this and pretend like some world leader is like making some declaration, and it just starts wars. Like that freaks me out.
Oh, you're talking about
spouse, somebody ever does that?
Yeah,
they
scary.
Be like, it just it be too intense. Oh my gosh. But yeah, them elections, y'all held it down. I also remember doing some like similar to like that type of calling, but it was at my school, and it was like we were trying to get gifts for the school. Well, gifts is what they call it. Pretty much money.
Oh, no, we're trying to steal money from alumni.
I was just like, dang, like nobody else at this university will hire me. It's no jobs in the city, or they don't hire Black people for real. And they were just like, here we go. It was right across the street from my house too. So I was like, okay.
Oh, perfect. No,
that's
you don't
nice.
need to worry
I will
about
call y'all. I'll be hitting your
I was
mind.
just like, I'm just not.
Don't pick up the phone.
Donating to the school. Do not ask me for money. Like, y'all made my life miserable. You're not getting any money from me.
And tell
Stop calling me.
That be me to my high school when they still sending emails like, can you just donate? And I'm like, y'all have like $1 billion in the bank. Get out of my face. Like
my high school would do that too. And I'm like, you're this tax bracket, like you guys get enough like from the local. And every time, like when we had field trips and stuff, my parents would be like, you This should be free. Like,
No, don't be charging me out of pocket still for stuff that y'all know that y'all got.
exactly.
No,
They're so
Sure.
greedy. And you know what they use that money for? I remember when I graduated, because you got to pay your senior dues and stuff. And our graduation present to the school that we didn't have a say in was those like things that you put on the water fountain, so you just put your bottle underneath and it fills it up automatically, which I was like, okay, I bring my water bottle to school, I can get behind this, but I'm graduating this year, so this is of no use to me at this point.
How y'all gonna say this is L gift to the school?
Exactly.
Who said I wanted to gift to school?
Like, I would have rather just keep my senior money thing.
That's my cash. Thank you. Like, y'all put me through, HE double hockey sticks accordingly, high school years, and now y'all want my hard earned. I can't.
Exactly.
I'm trying to think. Senior dues. Did y'all have like those? Like,
yeah, we had
Yeah.
senior dues.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Did we?
What did
Yeah,
I
all
pay for?
types
Like
of
prom and
payments.
stuff?
Didn't even do nothing.
Yeah, prom. If you guys had any like cute senior events,
Oh,
I don't-
yeah.
which like rest in like so sorry for like seniors of class of 2020 that went to high school. I've like at least had a high school graduation, a senior week. I feel so bad
know.
for them. Like no prom, no nothing. I would have been devastated, honestly.
Them
Yeah.
babies
That might
said
be
I
the
turned
worst.
18 and that's it. That's it. That was 2020. And I'm like, oh, all the power to y'all. But y'all got, well, if y'all go back to school, y'all got 4 more years. Well, it's 2021. 3 more years if you're trying to, see what graduation might look like in a couple years. Because eventually they're going to put us all back together. So, yeah. But, yeah, we were talking about our interesting experiences.
or situationship.
Yeah, across the pond though, it's we had a couple gambles over there for sure, even on my end. But I'm not sure if Kim, you as someone who I feel like has a good example of like has a good experience of meeting somebody across the pond, also still like staying very interconnected. So how that's going for you and everything, and like how do you
Ooh,
feel
do
like
you have a boo?
Yes.
Cha! Yeah. One
Well,
of us. Well, I have a boyfriend too, but like one of us is winning. He better not watch this.
and winners unite.
Period.
But yeah, how that's been going, and like how y'all stay connected, or just even cross cultural boundaries and stuff like that.
I think I don't know. Well, because so we were flatmates last year. It was a flat with 5 people, and I think we got really lucky because everybody in that flat, like, it was just such a nice
Such a
like
good
vibe, familial.
Wait
It was
a
so
minute.
nice,
That's cute.
right? It was so
I like
cute.
the origin story. You guys were flatmates.
Yeah, he's my flatmate.
I love it. I love it.
But yeah, I think as like our because we were like really close friends in London, like we'd all hang out together all the time. We had
I just
like,
lived
a
across
common...
there, flat. I was
which was another thing too.
Love
like
that.
you and I meeting, like I remember one of my flatmates, there was one other girl who lived in my flat, and on like the first weekend or like first week of being in the flat together, she comes and tells me, she's like, I met this other American girl, you guys are gonna be really good friends. And I was like, okay. And then she was like, I'm gonna introduce you, and then she never did. And like 3 weeks later, I'm like I'm in the hallway walking, and I hear this, like, I see you, London, walk past me, and I hear this like Baltimore, like American accent, and I realized now, like, I think she was talking to herself because I didn't see a phone. But and I just like turned to her and I was like, are you from America? And she was like, yes. And I was like, hello, nice to meet you. But
oh my gosh, such a blessing how that worked out.
right, just across the
That's
hall.
cute.
So lucky.
It was amazing.
But yeah, so yeah, with Eric, and we would just like all hang out together, and so we were like really close friends. And then I just remembered, like, over Christmas, I was having a really, really like rough time, and I was so sad because all my flatmates were going home for Christmas. They were all from England, except one of them who's from Italy, and he also was going home. And so I was just yeah, like really stressing about that, being in that mental space, and being really isolated. And then yeah, sort of like last minute, like the day Eric was leaving, he's like, yeah, do you want to just come back to mine? Do you want to come back to mine for Christmas? But
Be my gift.
yeah, and it was really sweet. I had a really nice time.
Sorry, I'm screaming, but
for it.
like,
You heard me.
It was yeah, really complicated, but like, because as we were like there, like we were still just friends at that point, but I was sort of like, oh, you know, like I kind of like you, and then he's like, oh, I kind of like you too. But I think because neither of us had like really like seriously dated, it was just like, well, question mark. And I think that I was like more eager to just be like, okay, you like me, I like you, like why aren't we dating now? But and so yeah, when I went home, it was like kind of weird because it was like in this weird like unsettled space. But then when he came back, we had like another week of it just like sort of being weird, and then I just like did this really annoying like grand gesture in the hallway of our flat where I was like, your friendship is really important to me, and like I know I haven't been like that good of a friend, but like I don't want to lose your friendship. I mean, like this is really annoying, but I don't know, it like worked, and like we just were like okay, and started to hang out again regularly. And then obviously like with Corona happening, I had to go home early, but before I left, I went back to his, and I think at this time like we weren't like officially dating like label wise, but because I don't think it never really crossed our minds because we were like spending every day together and you know all that, so it's just like completely fine. But I went to his house before I came back to America, and so I was like there in quarantine with his mom and his brother for a week before I left, it was so nice, and it was warm. It was every day I was like, and I was like, why am I going home? Like I just want to stay here forever. But I went home, and then which was like a whole other like extra, you know, door being open because long distance is so weird, and like we never like made any statements about like whether or not we were like actually together or like what any expectations were and stuff. So it was just really weird because it was like I got home and that culture shock was like something like I just wasn't expecting it to be so hard to readjust to being there. And then you know, on top of that there's like time difference, so I'm like wanting to talk to him and stuff, but it's like really like late, you know, in the day, or like he has like other things to do and stuff, and it was really rough. And London knows this, I spent a lot of the last year just like, she called me and she's like, how are you and Eric? And I'm like, yeah, that's done, that's over. And then like she called me back the next week and I'd be like, yeah, it's going really great. So I was like so erratic, it was so ridiculous. I'm like, all of my friends who stood by me during that time, I'm like, thank you for being my friend because I was such a mess. But yeah, and then so once I got the internship or the job in Poland, we like sort of were like, okay, like maybe I can come to England for a bit before I go to Poland, and, you know, just sort of we're trying to figure that out. And then eventually we were like, okay, yeah, I'll just do it. And so I got my ticket, and like a week later I was, you know, back in England, and I was supposed to be in Poland last month, but because of Corona and stuff, they kept sending me, there was like so many mixed messages and so much stuff going on, and I get it because like nobody knew what was happening, but I decided to just, because they told me, they're like, if you want, you can just wait until September to come to Poland and start your teaching. And then I was like, I wrestled with that for a couple weeks, and I decided to just do it because I was like, I'm really enjoying my time with Eric, and just because it's like the longest, I think, uninterrupted time we've had together as a couple. And we live together here, which is like a whole other like thing. I've never lived with somebody who wasn't just like a friend or, you know, my family before, so that's an interesting experience. I feel like it's really nice practice too, because there's like the whole accountability thing, because I can't just like be in my bed all day because I gotta wake up and he's right there and he's like awake and he's reading, and I'm like, I guess I shouldn't be on my phone, but I do want to scroll. I feel like it like forces me to sort of try and like be just like be like the best parts of myself, but also like when I'm like really like failing at that, it's like really nice because I feel really comfortable just being a mess
so
too.
Happy
it's
right
just
now.
like
So sorry. This is so wholesome. It gives me some hope with my relationship. Oh my god, it's so nice.
Oh my gosh, I'm loving this.
Fun. And I love I remember growing up, I was always like, I love British films and stuff. And so it's just like so fun, like dating somebody from England, because now I get to do his accent all the time.
Oh, is cute. Oh my gosh, y'all is cute. Okay, and I'm gonna get right back to this story, but interruption quickly. You mentioned British films, which reminds me, have y'all seen Skins? And I think
Yes.
okay.
I tried
only saw, like,
watching
2
Skins,
seasons.
but I'm a Degrassi baby. Like I couldn't get past. Like I feel like Skins is a bit like it doesn't get where I need it to get quick enough, and like
Okay.
Degrassi is like
Yeah.
someone got shot, they got stabbed, they sold
They
drugs.
do
And I was
go
like,
hard.
yes, give it to me. Like that's like the American in me not being patient. I wasn't patient enough for Skins, but I feel like it's something maybe I could watch now. But I feel like the only like British shows that like I'm really into right now are like sex ed.
I don't
Which
really
is
know.
you need to watch. Have you seen it?
I
Or
have
you don't
not
like
seen
it?
sex ed, but like Eric is always like, or he used to
It's
talk about it a
so
lot.
good.
Okay.
Is it really good? Maybe
It
I'll get into
is.
it.
It's
I got you.
hilarious. Like it's so
I
funny.
need to
I
write
can't
that
wait for the
down.
third season. Like
Okay, I got.
it's good. Like I can you can take my recommendation for it. Like
Okay. 3 seasons
I enjoy
on the
it, and
way.
you know I'm a sucker for the accents. So I live
Accents. Hello, Measley. Hello, Ron.
education.
Sex education. And you just,
No,
we've got it. But,
I hope no British people watch this because they're gonna be mad.
baby, I hope they okay.
Yeah,
I'm just
it's
over here
all,
like-
with peace and love. It's all coming from a great place.
from the great place. And they
No,
can say a
you don't
lot of
have
stuff
that,
about
like, fake
Americans
beef with
in
British people.
They be
Yeah, they bring
I'm
up
not-
school
they be coming
shootings,
for
and it's
us
just
a
like,
little
all
too
right, you
hard.
got me.
They
We be like this.
Come
We be
on.
like, oh my god, you eat beans and toast. You have an accent. They're like, oh my god, your kids get shot at school.
you
And
just
you're
like,
like, yo, like, why did you take it there? For what?
wanted
For
to
what?
have a joke with you, but okay.
I was just trying to laugh, but
I was just trying to have a laugh, but no, they say no. But can we love hearing a beautiful story unfolded? And I'm just so like enlightened to even like have heard like a story like that, because I know definitely me, I be just all up in my romanticized head and stuff like that, and that just was this little narrative, it hits that little.
I'm glad to have been of service to
I
you.
mean, I feel for them because like I'm in that weird COVID long distance phase.
I was going to ask you up
now.
next, how's that going? And how you can start from wherever, origin or further.
I mean, okay, so like my boyfriend Mohammed, like very sweet guy, very wholesome. I met him in Vienna. So like I go to school in Austria. I didn't even say that at first. Okay, yeah, I live in Austria, but right now I'm currently in the US. And so I met him. It's a funny story, but I'm not going to give all the details because it's a little much. But like, I met him in when did we meet? October, at the birthday party of a guy I was talking to, which is really funny. But I stopped talking to him because he was being trifling. So whatever.
On to the next.
We're still friends though, but like he was being a little trifling. And so we stopped talking, but like me and Muhammad like became friends like after the birthday party or whatever, and like we turned out we just had a bunch of stuff in common, and he's like really nice, really sweet or whatever, and like we started hanging out a lot. And like during the lockdown in Vienna, we like would hang out, go over each other's houses, like just chill, just vibe, like make dinner. Like it was just nice, like really sweet. And so things were like developing, like we knew like like okay, like we feel the vibe, like we just weren't really speaking on it, like there was no need we didn't feel the need to like at that point be like, oh, like this is something whatever, like because it felt like it was naturally going that way. But then I got deported from Austria. And so like I woke up one day it was the day after we had like the best day. Like it was so nice. Like he came over, we watched Spirited Away, which is my favorite movie.
Yay!
We did some homework. Like, it was just, it felt like the best days are like when you just do things, like just domestic, lame, boring stuff together. And you're like, oh, there's this person doing these boring everyday things with me. And I was just like, oh my God. Like,
it's the
I love
mundane.
And I just remember like, waking up the next morning and he was there and like the sun was out and like it was really cute. We just had a moment and I was just like, oh my God, I really like him. Like that's like when I knew like, okay.
Yeah.
I love a moment.
from the Austrian government telling me I need to get the fuck out.
Okay.
Because I overstayed my visa under the impression that if my application was in process, I'd be able to stay. And also, I'm a student, whatever. And they hadn't been communicating with me even before before my visa ended. So I was like trying to figure out like what I can and can't do. And so it was very abrupt. Like I got this letter from them telling me to get the fuck out, that I have to reapply from the United States, blah, blah, blah. And I texted Mohammed that, and he was really upset and like, of course, because things were going a certain way. So he was just like, okay, like let's just spend the weekend together and then we'll like see what's going on. And so like, we were at his place and that's when he told me like he really liked me and he was just like really upset. He was like, damn, like I really felt like this was going somewhere and like I'm just hurt that like you have to leave and blah blah blah. And he was like, it feels like my girlfriend's being deported. And that's when I was like, girlfriend? I got really emotional. I was like, no, wait. No, because like, damn, like chill.
Don't start.
It's really sad. But it was also just overwhelming because like I had to pack all my stuff. I had to figure out like when I'm going, if I was gonna get fined, if I was gonna be able to return. Like everything was just up in the air at that point. So I was like, okay, like we'll talk about what this is like when I'm home. Like just give me some time because like I'm really overwhelmed with everything that's going on. So like when I first got back, like we were still talking often and stuff, and like it still felt like we had the vibe going, like and we were like, okay, because we were both really really into each other, so like we're like, okay, like we're gonna be fine, like blah blah blah, like what, like let's just do this, like we got this. Yeah, so the problem now is like as much like and I'm sure he'll watch this because we're talking about international dating, so hey love, hi Habibi. But like I mean he knows like we have our problems now like with like communication and like the time difference, and he just recently got a job in the US, so that's kind of been like the root of the issue, is that like the uncertainty now, because we were under the impression he would be in Austria when I got back, but he won't be. He'll be here. And so it's like we're switching places. Yeah. And so it just kind of brought a lot of uncertainty up. Like, if we want to continue doing this, or like what we want to do, blah, blah, blah. But he'll be here in like a few weeks. So I'm going to go see him for like 3 weeks. So I'm excited to see him. Yeah. And hopefully, I mean, we'll see what the vibes are, you know what I mean? But I think either way, like, we both really care about each other. So I think however it ends up, like, it'll end up hopefully well. Yeah. But, like, what Kem just said gave me some hope, because I was like, oh, okay, like, maybe I can breathe a little bit. Because, like, COVID just makes everything so, like, you don't know what's going on, Exactly. And I feel like, but I think, like, for me, like, I'm able to adapt to things very well, I guess. Like I'm okay with like long distance does not bother me. Like I don't have to see you every day. I'd actually prefer not to see you every day. I feel like if someone's in my space every 10 seconds, like it would probably get on my nerves. And I've done long distance before and it was fine. So like it doesn't bother me that much. Where with him, he's very much like if you're not in my vicinity, like you kind of don't exist unless I'm really trying to make you exist.
It takes extra effort on that.
Yeah, so it's just like for me it feels really effortless, and I think for him it like takes a lot out of him, I think, and it's just like something we have to work through. But but he was like, I'm excited to see you and I want to try crab cakes in Maryland and all that, so.
Y'all about to get the old bay. Yes, so, yeah. So good. Well, y'all should get some.
But I was just talking to him earlier, so yeah, like I'm just excited to see him and take him to Target and like and stuff and all of that. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, that's still my boo though. He get on my nerves, but
that's what it be about. I just love when they get on your nerve just enough to be like, okay, like not too much now, because when they start getting on the nerves too much now, it's like, all right,
you be like, all right.
Yes. But when it's just enough and you just like, playful, love this, love us, yes. But that is really like, I think just telling of these quarantines.
Oh God, these
like
quarantines.
And just trying to navigate that. Also, like in terms of like long distance and stuff, especially like now with y'all about to switch places and everything, it's like with internation, like, but feeling out the vibes and stuff, you know, checking in with y'all connection and everything, I think is like key. So y'all can figure out what's the next step, cause what's really good, cause Muhammad, I mean, he about to be in the DMV, you about to be in Austria. It's like, all right, like we here, but you know, we also here where we at. So I remember like before like actually going to England, like I was dating my ex, and like before we before I wound up going, I was just like, okay, like maybe we can like, you know, split up for this time being, or like it was more like split up and like just kind of explore our options, although we still kept up with each other consistently, like we were talking like every day or whatever, and like it didn't feel like anything changed, but definitely just granting each other the space to explore and to like really immerse ourselves in our environment, and like, you know, not have all these like, because it's so much harder to like meet certain expectations through long distance, especially like, for example, if your love language is like physical touch or something, so you'd be pretty content with like cuddling today and then like, all right, I don't really need to see you tomorrow, let's just text a little bit, and then like I'll see you down the line and it'll all work out. But then, you know, when it's long distance, it's like I can't touch you, and so it's definitely like, okay, this is our means to connect with each other, or even things like writing letters and stuff. That sounds pretty cute, but yeah, just like, you know,
that reminds me. I tried. Okay, so when I first got back to when I went back to America, it was April, and Georgia was still locked down for like I think 3 days or so
like
after I got there. They were like locked down over. But I remembered I was staying at my friend's apartment, or like FedEx, I think, and I was like, yeah, I just want to send this letter, and she's like, okay, that'll be $85, and I was like, what? Because
85.
That's why people don't send letters. I forgot.
Exactly. But I think it was because UPS had
COVID.
Exactly, it was COVID, and UPS had suspended just like regular, because you know you could just get an international stamp and put it on the envelope and then it goes off, but they weren't doing that. So yeah, and I was like, I guess I won't. And then because that was one thing before I left. Eric was like, oh, we could like write letters to each other, and I was like, oh, that would be so cute and romantic. And COVID was like,
gonna send e-cards, like
exactly.
Like it's like not feasible.
It's not happening. I see you a text, so let's
exactly
a good morning text.
iMessage, I guess.
Honestly, I be like a little good morning, good night text. I be, you know, feeling myself. I'm feeling myself. Let me stop.
I mean, I guess my final thoughts is like before I got to Muhammad, like there's a lot of dating happening, because I was just like, because I haven't had a partner in 4 years. Like the last person I dated was the ex from high school.
Okay.
So like he's the first person I dated seriously. Like this is my second like serious, started serious, but kind of like because of COVID, there's some technical difficulties, literally. So like, you know, we're figuring it out, but like it's been 4 years of like scarcity of like me not wanting, like not. There are times where I'm like, okay, I'm working on me, but then there are other times where I'm like, I kind of want a partner, but like all these Syracuse are trash.
The choices,
all the shade, all of the tea.
Yes, give it.
And so when I got to Vienna, like, you know, I was dating around a lot, like meeting a lot of people, because like, you know, COVID at first was really controlled in Vienna, so I felt safe enough to like meet up with people and like do what I had to do and like chat and like whatever. You know, I saw like there was some potential developments that happened, but I think like what's most interesting for me is just like like what love looks like in other cultures, and like what are the social cues in, or like I guess romantic cues in like different cultures, because like I was talking to this French guy and like he was on some like I'm just trying to feel, like I'm just trying to feel, I'm feeling, and I'm like, nigga, I don't know what that means, like what again, like I need to know, like I was like, okay, so are we dating? He's like, I'm feeling, and I was
that's
like,
so fun though. That's so French to be like, oh, I just want to feel.
I just think it was fun because I was just like, I'm confused. I don't know what that means, baby.
So
now it's like, okay, I get it now. But like when he was telling me this, I was just like, so what are we doing then? He's like, we're feeling. I'm like, stop it. Like, I don't like this. Like, it made me uncomfortable. Like, exactly. Like, you know, like these relationships really challenge you to like seriously, like, you know, figure stuff out. And then like, you know, I was talking to this Ethiopian guy. That was different. It was fun though. It was cute. Talking to this Ghanaian guy, fun, cute, whatever. And I was talking to Muhammad, Palestinian king, like, you know.
Come
I'm like,
on now.
so I mean, like, and like the women in Austria, like I've been on like a few dates with girls in Austria, and like they weren't my cup of tea. Because I think like there's still this weird like social justice fetishizing thing happening with the white woman in Austria. And I'm like,
I can't just be me right here. No.
Yeah, and like there's not a lot of non-white women in Austria. And like I mean I'm like in the queer community like groups and stuff, and like there is like this black owned like community space that I go to called Villa Vida. Check it out if you're in Austria. It's like owned by this black woman from New York City. She's super cool.
She better.
Yeah, and like, you know, I come there, but it's a lot of older queer black women. So it's not like anyone in my age bracket. It's just like my lesbian aunties, like, you know, nurturing me. And like, you know, judging the guys that I'm dating, which is really funny. But they all gassed up Muhammad, so because he had come through to the place a few times, so they're just like, okay, girl, go ahead and, you know, we approve. Yes, sis.
Thank you for your blessings.
Got my lesbian auntie blessing. So, you know, I mean,
Muhammad, you
I will
blessed.
say that like the cultural differences are weird. I mean, you know, but I mean, depending on how this goes with him, like I may or may not be dating around again. Who knows? But I think I'll need a break like after this because I'm just tired. Like it's exhausting, honestly. Like giving yourself to people and then like you know.
It can be a lot, like 100%. And we definitely can tap into a couple more of my experiences across the pond because I think I predominantly like I was dating like white English guys while away and stuff like that. And those was, you know, those were each individual experiences and everything. So I can't speak too much on all of that too right now. But in regards to like just dating in general, I feel like it's definitely like it always come back to like self and like trying to like control self or like maintain self or like, you know, just keep your mind like, you know, focused on what you need to focus on or like busy. Well, I don't want to even say busy because it's like you just like doing a bunch of random stuff in that case, but like doing things that make you happy, especially outside of like your partner and stuff. Because I'm not going to lie, when I get a boo, international or not, I just be like wanting to be with them. And like naturally, I feel like I get into my introverted ways when I'm with a boo even more because I'm like, oh, dang, I already kind of wanted to be alone in my space by myself. But now I got somebody I can cuddle with and be alone and just be in this space like kind of by myself. So it's just like but when they not available or whatever the case may be, like whether it's long distance and stuff, like just really trying to like tap in and be like control yourself and stuff because even like a lot of these instances that we brought up and stuff, like it's taking so much self-control, y'all, to get to this point where it's like they don't know who I was, like, and they don't need to find that out. Like, I'm better than that.
It's a secret. It's none of your business.
I'm like, I don't need to bring that part out anymore. You know, like just like toxic or jealous parts or like whatever the case may be. Like they go out and hang out with their friends and stuff, and like you know, I want their happiness to, you know, be up because their happiness, you know, is connected to mine. So I feel in all of that. Yeah, but y'all got this in these very beautiful interracial. Well,
I mean that too.
Yeah,
international.
International and interracial.
Y'all better go ahead.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's my first, well, real interracial relationship. I dated this white boy in high school, but yeah.
Emphasis on the first.
I'm not counting him. You're not. In high school, I don't really count high school. Honestly, all those relationships are practice.
Yeah, exactly. I always say this is my first relationship.
Like all of them are practice.
Honestly, all of them really are practice or like some type of lesson. It's like, thank you for teaching me that. Now on forward. Going forward.
Yeah.
But anyways, y'all, I think today's episode we're gonna be wrapping it up very, very soon. This was lovely, but I am curious, what do y'all actually the plan is for us to record still. I was about to say what y'all about to get into, but I will see y'all actually very, very soon. Thank everybody. I thank everybody for tuning into this episode of Wanderlusty, and please make sure to tune in again. Thank you to our special guest Tayla for joining us today and talking
Thanks
to
for
us about
having me.
the real around the globe, because these are like some little bits and pieces that we don't always get to tap into. So I love that we got to express this, and share some of our tales, because Lord knows it get wild even across the globe. So y'all keep on staying tuned, and later.